We definitely, I definitely like to talk with you before you leave. Where you about to head to right now?
This my man's and shit like that. We go back and stuff.
Good,
I got
good.
some other stuff to do, but I wanted to talk to him because
definitely. He's a knowledgeable brother. Listen to what he says. He's telling you stuff that's coming out of this Bible.
Yeah,
and that's what I'm saying. Even as you standing here now, before you go, where are you going? You're aware of your nationality? You're aware of who you are?
Yeah.
You know. So if you saw that sign right there, what tribe are you from? That sign right there.
Well, you know what I'm saying? My people, my dad is from Nigeria and stuff. He's from the Odon state and stuff.
Okay, I got you.
From the research that I did and stuff like that, they said the Ephraim side. I don't know why that's the Puerto Rican, but you know what I'm saying?
You're saying Ephraim? Yeah, no, what do we? He said Nigeria.
Who called Nigeria? The Odon state. That's where my grandfather and stuff like that is from. Right, Yoruba. Yeah, Yoruba.
All praises, so that is Ephraim. That is Ephraim. All praise to the Most High. So here's the thing though. You're saying you don't know why we say Puerto Ricans are, because they match those same curses as well. They match those same prophecies as Ephraim. When you read Genesis 49, when you read Deuteronomy 33, it goes into that. But also the fact of you and the fact that our people, give me Luke 21. Luke 21. We got to know, we were going to go into a little bit of the history so you have more understanding of why is it that we're saying now, you're Ephraim, you're the tribe of Ephraim, the Yoruba people. How did we get there? Christ prophesied about that. Watch this.
Luke chapter 21 and verse 20.
Read that.
And when ye shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies.
So this is Christ prophesying, Christ the black Messiah prophesying, and he says, you will see Jerusalem compassed with armies. You know where Jerusalem is, right? Where's Jerusalem located?
North of... escaping me.
You're almost there.
Saudi Arabia.
It's north of Saudi Arabia and all them. But guess what? What continent is it on?
Africa.
Yeah, there you go. All praise to the Most High. Northeast Africa. That's where Israel, that's where Jerusalem is. Because they tell you today what? Oh, it's in the Middle East. What the hell is that? Nobody, it's a figment of people's imagination, the Middle East, because no one can tell you where the Middle North is. Where's the Middle South? Where's the Middle West? That's the thing. We see that it's a bunch of made up foolishness. It's in Northeast Africa. And he said what? Jerusalem would be compassed. This is something that he spoke about 35 years before it happened. Read.
And when ye shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh.
There's a desolation coming. What desolation? The desolation that our forefathers and foremothers were supposed to read about earlier in the Bible. That was prophesied. Daniel prophesied about it. A lot of our prophets prophesied about Israel, Jerusalem would be destroyed. Watch this. Read.
Then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains.
So them which are in those lands are supposed to do what?
Flee to the mountains.
Flee to the mountains. Where are the mountains? You know what I want, Matthew. Where are the mountains? We're gonna show you in the Bible right now, my brother. What's your name, by the way? Desmond. I'm Mishael, man. Nice to meet you, man. Watch this.
Matthew chapter 2, verse 13. And when they were departed, behold, the angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream.
So this is the angel talking to Joseph, because this is Joseph, Mary, and this is baby Jesus at this time. And he says what? Read it again.
And when they were departed, behold, the angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream, saying, arise and take the young child.
Take the young child Jesus and do what?
And his mother. And flee into Egypt.
Flee where?
Into Egypt.
Where's Egypt? What continent is Egypt on? Oh man, what's going on? Wait, so why are they fleeing? What's happening? Read.
And be thou there until I bring thee word.
Read.
For Herod will seek the young child to destroy him.
So guess what? They're running from Herod. Who's Herod? A white man who's seeking to destroy black babies. Does that not sound familiar? Yeah, we can look into abortions today. What's going on with that? Why are they put Planned Parenthood in the hood? Why is it not in the suburbs somewhere?
Right.
So you see, like this just keeps playing on over and over. But guess what? He told black Joseph, black Mary, take the black child and you go to where the people look just like you in Africa. Back to Luke.
Luke chapter 21, verse 20.
Watch this. And we'll get there. I'm gonna get there with you.
And when ye shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh. Then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains.
Flee where? To the mountains. The mountains he was telling them the same way I fled. That's the way you're gonna flee, into Africa. That when you read in Babylon to Timbuktu, it tells you that millions of Jews fled into Africa. That's how we got to the west coast of Africa, where now later on in history, you'll see lands that are so, they call Africa Negro land, especially the north part of it. And you'll see it was nothing but Jews, Jewish civilizations settling all over the west, throughout Africa and especially the west coast. That was a time in history. That was common knowledge. It's now today, oh no, those are all Africans. They have nothing to do with Israel. Nah, we know. We understand the history. But Christ said that they would be running into Africa, fleeing persecution. But watch it. One more, verse 24.
All appreciate
Yes, sir.
out and stuff like that.
Verse,
keep it up and stuff like that. Hit me up though, bro.
Definitely. All right.
Verse 24. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword.
And what would happen to the Jews?
And they shall fall by the edge of the sword.
The Jews, the real Jews, would fall by the edge of the sword, meaning they would lose wars. And what would happen to them?
And shall be led away captive into all nations.
So guess what? Only one people fit that. That they would be led slaves into all nations. All nations. Read.
And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles.
And guess what? The people that are trotting down the homeland today are the Gentiles. They are not Israelites. They tell you themselves they are Israelis. There's a difference. Israelis, they're Jewish. They're not the Jews. I'm looking at the Jews. I'm looking at the Jews right there taking a flyer now. All praise to the Most High. The Jews are in the ghettos and slums.
Right.
Give me Daniel 11:14. We got to understand there's a very deep thing that happened to our people. Guess what? And they worked very hard to establish this. Read that.
Daniel chapter 11 and verse 14. And in those times, there shall many stand up against the king of the south.
Read on.
Also the robbers of thy people.
Also the robbers of thy people will do what?
Shall exalt themselves to establish division.
How do they exalt themselves? Calling themselves Jewish. Calling themselves Israelis, and they would work hard to do what?
To establish the vision.
They have established the vision that they are Jews, which they are not. But let's hear what the Bible calls them. You know what I want? Revelation. What does God say those people are? All of that is for you to understand. Someone is walking around as an imposter.
That's right.
And in order for that vision to keep going, they have to make you call yourself something else as well. That's what you got. That's what you have to understand. The council is crafty with this one, with the devil. Read.
Revelation chapter 2 verse 9. I know thy works and tribulation and poverty.
Only the blacks and Hispanics know the tribulation and poverty of this Bible. Because guess what? God said what? The judgments. They have not known them. The other nations. The heathen do not know God's judgments. God only judged the Israelites that way.
Right.
Read.
I know thy works and tribulation and poverty. But thou art rich.
We are in poverty, but God said we are rich. Why are we rich? How are we rich? Give me Romans 9, man. I want to know, how are we rich? How are the blacks and Hispanics rich? Read that.
Romans chapter 9 verse 4.
Verse 3.
Verse 3. For I could wish that myself were accursed from Christ for my brethren, my kinsmen, according to the flesh.
My kinsmen according to the flesh. You are who I'm speaking to. You blacks and Hispanics. Ain't no difference between us. Read.
Who are Israelites?
Who are what?
Who are Israelites?
That's who we are, brothers and sisters. We are the Israelites.
Yes.
You are the Israelites.
Right.
And let's hear what the Bible has for you. What God said is for you. Read.
To whom pertaineth the adoption.
The adopting of yourselves back to your God. The black God that's in the Bible. Who sits on his throne with the woolly hair.
Right.
You're coming back to him. But you won't come back to him until you actually come, stand, listen to your brothers, bring out this word. Read.
And the glory.
And the glory, the kingdom of heaven is only for you.
Right.
Read.
And the covenants.
The covenants, the old and new covenants belong to you.
That's right.
Blacks and Hispanics, not everybody.
Let them know.
Read.
And the giving of the law.
The giving of God's law has only happened to you. That's why you're the only ones who went through the slavery, the conditions that you've been through, the colonization, the fact that Africa's the richest continent on the face of the planet, and the people in Africa are the poorest people on the face of the planet. It's time to put the two and two together. The time for foolishness is over. Being ignorant and watching non-stop YouTube and Facebook and TikTok and Tumblr and Instagram, that time is over. Stop the foolishness. Pick up the Bible and read.
That's right.
Read.
And the servants of God.
And the servants of God are only the Israelites. Read.
And the promises.
And the promises of the Bible are only given to the Israelites. Read.
Whose are the fathers. And of whom, as concerning the flesh.
No, concerning the spirit.
Concerning the flesh.
Concerning the spirit, brother.
As whom of concerning the flesh.
As whom concerning the flesh. What?
Christ came.
Christ came for you.
Right.
Blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans. He came to save his people.
Right. Let them know.
Understand that. That's what we are here to let you know. It's time for you to come back to your God, the black God, and the black Messiah. Understand that. Go back.
Revelation chapter 2 verse 9.
So it says that all of those riches belong to you. The kingdom, salvation. Who needs salvation? Wouldn't it be a distressed people that need salvation? What salvation? What does the white man need saving from? What does the Arab need saving from? Read.
I know thy works and tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich.
You blacks and Hispanics are rich and don't even know it. Y'all sing that song and y'all don't even know it. But guess what? You don't even know who you are. You don't know your God. You don't know anything about yourself. That's why you pick up white women's customs, white man's customs, and you take it as your own. And you adopt it and you're thinking that God is listening to you. Yeah, God, I love God. I love God. I go to church on Sunday. Yeah. Going around whoring the rest of the week. Read.
And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews.
And I know the filthy lie of them which do what?
Say they are Jews.
There's a people, my brother, that say they are Jews.
And are not.
But they are not. What does Jesus Christ call them? Because let me ask you a question, my brother. Do you see the blacks and Hispanics going around the world telling people they're the Jews? No. So guess what? This Bible's talking about somebody. This is Jesus Christ. He's saying, I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not. But what are they?
But are the synagogue of Satan.
My brother, have you ever heard that? You've heard Christ call people the synagogue of Satan? He's literally calling those people the devil, my brother.
That's right. Let them know.
That's what you need to start understanding. My people need to start understanding there's a race of people on the planet who are the devil.
That's right.
The man of sin must be revealed in these last days. He's calling himself one thing, and he's established that vision. But guess what? How he established that vision? By cutting you off from your vision.
We used to scream black power while heroin was pushed. But at the end of the day, nothing's in vain. IUIC has been given a vision. The tents of Judah has risen. Many has attempted the mission, minor murmuring, omitting, and missing the mark. Just reading that he had the flame of fire in his eyes gave us the spark. We on Paul's mission. We out on the road, purple and gold, from Mexico, Cuba, Haiti, Ghana, Sierra Leone. 144,000 boots banging, concrete crackling. These are our men repented at heart. The scriptures is proof. IUIC, we deliver the truth.